light. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be easy, but it can be a little lighter, lesser for you to have to
Yes.
worry about. I can honestly say that my brother's transition was a lot smoother because we didn't have the pressures of wondering what we were gonna do and
Right.
how we were gonna do it. It moved so swiftly and so smooth because my brother had already made his wishes known,
Hmm.
and his boys listened. They heard him and they listened. So that was amazing. So to make that process lighter for someone else, I'm excited for you, and how God placed that in your spirit to be able to do that. Know that was all Him because He know what we need, and
Yes.
and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. You are a part of a new podcast that's coming up on the Crew Podcast, and it's dealing with grief. Um, so tell us about that and what you're looking forward to with that opportunity.
I am excited to have the opportunity to be a part of this particular podcast. This is something that is really near and dear to my heart when dealing with individuals who are walking through this particular journey. As a minister of the gospel, we see so much that transitions during times of grief. We see many phases of grief. I have actually walked through grief myself. Just losing our daughter. We lost our daughter in 2004, and just to have um, the Lord be with me during that time, and understanding that even when there is more than one person involved, because I had to come to the realization that my husband had his process of grief, which was different from my process of grief. And we processed it very differently. And so to be a part of this project and to be able to lend my voice to some of the things that we walk through as parents who have lost a child. We lost an infant, and then we lost an adult son as well. So two different scenarios. Both of them were very different in the walk through the grief, but it was still a walk, it was still a journey. And so to be able to not only speak from a personal perspective of an individual who has taken that journey, but also to be able to speak from a spiritual perspective, from how God has and continues to walk with me through that journey, even though it's been almost 21 years ago. There are still some days that, are more vivid than other days. There are still some days where it seems to um, overwhelm you sometimes when you start to think about, what would their life have been like, and how different my life may have been had they still been here with me. There's still those moments where you think, and you're having these glimpses of, what if. And so it's a process, but I want people to understand that even in grief there is no specific time for you to get over someone leaving. There's no specific time, because of the simple fact that I was 5 years old when my mom passed away. And I still have moments. Mother's Day is a time that used to be very difficult for me. Just being there, you're in church and on Mother's Day, and you have all these individuals with their mother, and they're loving on their mothers, and they're celebrating their mothers. And then you're here and you're saying, well, my mother's not here with me. I have many mother figures, but to say my biological mother is not here, those are moments in time that sometimes, you have those moments, and sometimes they cause you to reflect um in a way that grief is it will set in. So I'm really excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about what God is going to do. My prayer is that many people will leave the podcast, um, each episode, being blessed, being healed, being delivered, having a little more insight on walking through grief and being able to really decree and declare some freedom and some liberty, because grief can be something that can really overwhelm you to the point to where it is weighing you down. And so we want them to be free, we want them to be lighter, we want them to understand that, grief is something that we're all going to have to walk through, but with God we can walk through it, and we'll make it through it. He's there to help us. He says that he draws nigh to those of a broken heart and those of a contrite spirit. And so when we learn how to walk through grief and walk through it with God, and knowing that we never walk alone,